Hello, welcome to Rebel Base, IGN's weekly Star Wars show. So this week I'm joined by our Lego expert, Mr. Alex Simmons. Krupa's not here, and you have been brought on because you're a Lego expert and not because Krupa is currently in San Francisco.
That is true. That is 100% true. I do like making things out of Lego, even though I'm a middle-aged man. But
yeah?
Hey, I'm cool with that.
What's the biggest Lego set you've ever made?
Probably kind of Slave 1 UCS, B-Wing UCS.
Right, you say UCS, there might be people at home who don't know what that is. Because it's quite a geeky Lego thing.
Ultimate Collector's Series. It's the pinnacle of Star Wars Lego.
Okay.
And the pinnacle of the pinnacle is the Millennium Falcon.
Right, okay.
But we're going to talk about that later.
Yes, we are, definitely.
Yes.
So, because the reason you've been brought on then is that this week it was confirmed that there are going to be Star Wars The Force Awakens Lego sets.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have confirmed that anyway because that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
But Hoth Bricks, a French site, has uncovered the details about every single set, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so there are 7 new sets.
Yeah.
Some that we kind of have an idea of what they're going to be like, and some that we don't. But I think some range from, pretty cheap, around $20, so entry-level sets, all the way up to $150. So you're looking at some pretty big sets.
Yeah, it's a good sort of like, there's a good range of sets for it, because I guess like the $20 one is going to be for the, kids you buy in Asda or something, and then the $150 one is going to be sort of for your big guns.
For me.
Yeah. $20 for me, $150 for you. Good.
So what we've seen so far, well, let's tackle the stuff that we've kind of seen before. So there's going to be another iteration of the Millennium Falcon, which is actually the 8th Lego iteration of the Millennium Falcon. Yes.
Holy bananas.
So the last one, which was only out like last year, if you go onto the Lego site now, it comes up as retired.
Right.
So that's obviously making way for this new iteration, which we've seen in the trailers. Now the new one is slightly bigger. It's 1,332 pieces. The old one was 1,254 pieces.
Okay.
But it's it's going to be around the same kind of size, but obviously it's going to be aesthetically different depending on what it looks like in the movie. So.
I guess so. I mean, because we were just looking at this now, and you were looking at the bits that are missing from that, but this one's got more pieces on it, not less. So if they're taking things off, you think there'd be less pieces?
Yeah, but it's a Lego. There might be more interior detail, or who knows.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned earlier, like my favourite iteration of the Millennium Falcon was the UCS version. That was 6,000 pieces.
What?
I know. And if you bought it when it came out, it was £350. But if you've still got one of those bad boys in its box, £6,000.
No way.
Yes way.
And you've got one?
I haven't got one.
Oh.
No. I wish I had one.
Oh man.
No.
That's amazing.
So that is an investment.
That's silly.
Also, they've announced that Poe's X-Wing is going to be in there.
This is the one I'm most excited for, yeah.
So again, there was another X-Wing out last year.
Yeah.
Go onto the Lego website. That says it was retired.
Right,
the old one was 560 pieces. This is 717 pieces.
Okay.
Obviously, by the looks of it, it's going to be a slightly different colour scheme.
Okay.
So blue rather than red.
Yeah.
We don't know an awful lot more of it
than
that, apart from what obviously we've seen in the trailer itself.
Yeah. I think this is the one I'm most excited for because I think he looks like the badass sort of good guy. I think.
Yeah.
Even though like Daisy really looks really cool, like Finn looks like he might be a bit of a wet blanket, whereas Poe looks like he's really out there sort of living it, and he's going to be like our Han Solo, I think. Yeah. So that's the one I'm most excited about, and $80 as well. It doesn't seem like it would have been too much of a hole in my pocket. Plus, you have to remember, I'm not a seasoned Lego builder like you. Right. It takes me a lot longer to build this. Really? Stuff, so yeah.
See, that's the thrill for me is building the things, and then my house is like, what do I do with all this Lego?
So what do you do with it?
Some of it's in my loft, some of it's just kind of, most of it is just my wife looking at me going, what are you doing?
What have I married?
And then there are some sets that we don't really know that much about. Okay, so you've got a First Order Snowspeeder. Now obviously we've seen some stills and we've seen some footage of, we don't think it is Hoth, but of a snow planet, an ice planet. Yeah. So there will be a Snowspeeder. We don't know whether it's going to look much like the kind of Rebel Snowspeeders. I assume not, because that's the Rebels.
No, I guess not.
And we're talking about the First Order here.
Yeah, and I mean, we have seen quite a lot of like snow stuff. So pretty much a lot of the Vanity Fair images were on this snow planet. So you can see him there, like Kylo Ren there. So I guess like we don't think that it's Hoth because of the way that the snow has been covered. But as you mentioned, global warming could have hit
exactly
in a galaxy far, far away. We don't know.
No one is safe.
No, definitely
global
not.
Warming.
And that one is, how much is that one?
So that's, well, we've seen the official price, €55, which equates to about $40. Like if you're buying outside of the UK and in Europe, you really do get stitched up.
Really?
Cheaper in the US. a bit more expensive in the UK. Right. In Europe, even more expensive.
Wow, okay. So that one's 444 pieces. That's kind of like, is that mid, I suppose, mid-range?
Yeah, that's kind of standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I bought the Rebels ATDP, which was around the same, but that was about £50 in the UK, and I think that's probably what it will equate to over here.
There's also the First Order Transporter. Now, this one is 792 pieces, so it's kind of like, that's quite hefty, isn't it? And that was $90 or about 115 euro.
Yeah, so it's about the same price as the new Lego Shuttle Tidarian that's just come out. And I think there's a part in the trailer where you see a handful of spaceships flying off towards a Star Destroyer.
Right.
Now, one of those, I'm pretty sure, is Kylo Ren's command shuttle, which we'll talk about in a sec.
Yeah.
But then it's surrounded by 3 or 4 of what I think is the transporters.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So, you know, not particularly interesting to look at, but you know, it's probably comes with a bunch of minifigs, which that's what bumps the price up.
I wonder if it's the sort of the transporter that we see in the first teaser. We see all the stormtroopers aboard, because
I bet you it is.
Yeah, and then I would guess like all the troopers that we see in the second teaser sort of ready there. It would suggest to me that they're heading for war or heading to attack somewhere. And then in the second teaser where we see, well, here we go. Yeah, this shot here of them running away. That would suggest maybe they're on the lookout and they've gone to find someone. Maybe it's Finn, because Finn's on that planet as well.
Yeah.
And this is the point where Daisy really then puts her hand out and helps him up. So maybe, you know, but there seems quite a lot of people to send off just after Finn, I guess. But we don't know. It depends what he did or what he's stolen.
Don't know. You're right.
Yeah.
One of the other pieces is the Special Force TIE. Now, we've seen a lot of the black TIE fighters in the trailers. We don't know if that's the Special Force TIE. I would have thought it probably is. Yeah. But it looks pretty much the same as an ordinary TIE fighter, but with kind of black skins, and then the wing panels are kind of like lighter grey texture.
Yeah, so for me, I reckon that's got to be what Captain Phasma is the captain of, the Special Forces. So it would suggest that the First Order have the normal First Order, which we see the troops and stuff. Then we have these Special Forces where we've seen Phasma in an amazing sort of like silver get-up. And maybe that's what she is the captain of?
Unless Phasma has something like, you know, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced.
Okay.
Which is, you know, a one-of-a-kind thing, which would be pretty cool.
That would be really good. Is there a Lego of that?
If there is, it's not been an... Oh, Darth Vader's one,
yeah.
Yeah, that came out as a UCS quite a while ago.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I want that one. That's probably worth about 10 grand now, is it?
Yes. And then, of course, there is Ray Speeder, which we've seen a fair bit of in all of the kind of trailers. So
the Magnum.
That's
the Magnum bike.
The Magnum bike. So that's the most kind of, the entry-level set, 193 pieces, 20 bucks, you know, 30 euros.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I'll be buying my children when I go and spend everything else on myself. So, and then the other one that we kind of mentioned earlier was Kylo Ren's command shuttle. Again,
that's an interesting one, yeah.
I think you can see it in the trailer itself. And now it looks a little bit like the old shuttle that you see in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
In terms of the body shape, but there's no vertical wing on top.
Right.
Just 2 huge wings that go up the side and then fold down, obviously.
And that's definitely in teaser 2, I think.
Yes,
the one that you're saying, like, as they're going towards what we think is the transport.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's definitely
it. Yeah, and also in some of the poster leaks that came out around the same time as the trailer.
Yeah.
You can spot it in there, and again, it looks much like the kind of Shuttle Tidarian.
Ah, cool.
But that's a pretty big set. That is 130 euros, 120 bucks, 1,004 pieces.
I want that one.
Yeah. It's not as good as the Lego Shuttle Tidarian that's currently out now.
Really? How much
is
that,
opinion?
In your opinion?
£80.
£80. Yeah,
so cheaper, and it looks better. And you get little Endor rebels that go inside.
Okay, I want that now.
It's badass.
There's so much amazing Star Wars Lego out there. So when are these out?
So these are all coming out on September 4th. Right, I believe it's coming out globally.
Right.
So yeah, you've got a little bit of time to save up your money.
Yeah.
If I was going to pick one, do you know what? I'm really interested to see what the Millennium Falcon looks like.
Yeah.
Because it's the 8th edition. Hopefully they'll do something kind of interesting or different with it.
Yeah.
Obviously within the parameters of the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Falcon, followed by Snowspeeder, because I love the current Snowspeeder. I don't know what this one's going to be like, but excited.
Mine's Poe's X-Wing Starfighter. That's the one that I'm looking forward to the most, I think. But what do you think these Lego sets mean for Star Wars The Force Awakens? Let us know, as always, rebelbase@ign.com. It's time for another edition of Force Feedback, which I came up with a name for, so there's no arguments there. Everyone knows that. And the first one, I had to read out because it's just a really weird one. It's probably the weirdest one we've had. We were trying to sort of decipher it because I put it in the show, but then I don't know why.
Okay.
So this one is talking about the relationship between Finn, Poe, and Rey.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a children's TV
It does sound like a song.
They sound like Teletubbies.
Yes.
So Isaiah writes in saying, do you think this new reveal may become our first canon polygamous relationship? So you're talking about the relationship between the three of them. Do we think that's the first canon polygamous relationship? But
no,
it's not, because there was another polygamous relationship.
A fairly obvious one.
Yeah, a really famous one
Luke,
as well.
Leia, and Han.
Exactly. So it's definitely not. But I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on with that relationship that we probably shouldn't go into.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we like children to be able to watch the show as well. So do we think this one will be the first one? Well, I don't think those three are gonna have that kind of relationship anyway. But it's definitely not the first canon polygamous relationship anyway, is it? So that's the end of that.
I've got an email from Julian Jonas, who is talking about the Etsy episode that we did recently.
Yeah.
And he says, hi Rebel Base team, love your show, but if you're searching for self-made Star Wars stuff, check out his page and we'll show you what it is on screen.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of Star Wars things, and just started to make some Star Wars knitting vlogs. He comes all the way from Germany.
I've watched them. He's really, really good as well. Like the stuff that he knits is really, really fun, and he's really fun to watch. So yeah, if you get a chance, definitely check those out. And if you want to send anything to Rebel Base, then you can do that. The address, as always, rebelbase@ign.com.
So this week we spoke with Roger Christian, who, among other things, is the creator of the lightsaber.
Yes, he did. That's a pretty big thing to make, really.
Yeah, and he also won an Oscar because he was the set director on the original Star Wars, A New Hope.
Yeah.
So what did he kind of have to say? Where did the lightsaber come from?
Well, I mean, we'll go to a clip of him talking in a bit, but like, yeah, some of the stuff that he's actually done is mind-blowing. He's worked on some incredible stuff. So he was a set director on A New Hope. He was the second unit director of Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace. He was the art director of Alien, and he directed, like, I think one of the most loved films of all time, which is Battlefield Earth.
I love that movie.
Which everyone, I think, has agreed that universally is one of the best films ever made, even better than Star Wars. But he also made this short called Black Angel, which ran in cinemas in the UK and a bunch of European places before Empire Strikes Back. Now, it's actually quite famous. Like, people who went to see Empire in the cinema remember this short, like, really, really vividly, because it was a short that was shown, everyone saw it. It was like a 30-minute thing as well. Like, when did you ever get that in the cinema anymore?
See, I saw Empire at the cinema.
Did you? Yeah.
First time round. Do
you remember seeing that?
But I was a kid, so no. And I'm pretty sure my mum and dad wouldn't have plonked me in the cinema 30 minutes before the film started, because by that point I would have just been bored by the time the Hoth sequence kicked in.
That's the thing, I think that. Like, I watched the film recently because it was lost, the negatives were completely lost, and it was found again very, very recently, and it went around a bunch of different sort of film festivals and that.
Right.
But I was thinking about this, I watched it, and I thought, yeah, this is decent, but if I was sitting in the cinema and all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to show you this half-hour film just before, then we're going to show some trailers. Like, although it is probably about half-hour trailers before each film now, so rather than trailers, would you rather see that?
No.
But it wouldn't be that, it would be that and the trailers, wouldn't it? So yeah.
Does it have anything to do with Empire Strikes Back apart from Roger Christian?
No, it doesn't. But it does have sort of parallels in storyline. So it has parallels in like fantasy storyline, you know, sort of like mentors, adventure, like action, stuff like that. But it's nothing to do with Empire other than the fact that he worked on Star Wars and it was shown at Empire Strikes Back. But because it was found recently, it had this like mass audiences started coming out and going like, I remember that short, why haven't I been able to find it? Why haven't I been able to find it? So what Roger and his sort of team have done is gone, okay, well, everyone obviously remembers it quite fondly.
Yep.
Let's make an entire film, a feature film out of it. So he's taken the idea of Black Angel and sort of padded it out a little bit. I guess not padded out a little bit. I'm sure he's done a little bit more work than that. But they're going to release it as a feature film. So they've got some budget, but they've launched Indiegogo as well. Okay. And at the time they were recording this, they were on course to hit their target. So I think it's been launched just over a week, and they were on 92 out of the 100,000 that they needed. And
is it going to show before Force Awakens? You've got to get to the cinema the day before just to catch it.
I don't think so, because it probably won't be made then. But I mean, one interesting dude. You know, and as I said, he's credited with, you know, he came up with the idea for the original lightsaber.
That's incredible.
So I chatted to him over Skype. He lives in Canada. I live in London. So apologies if the footage is a little tiny bit shaky, about what it was like to come up with that sort of iconic look, and also what does he think about Kylo Ren's new lightsaber. So let's have a look at that now.
When I read the script, I thought, oh, this is going to be the iconic image of the Star Wars, and it is Excalibur in the new age. And I adapted the weapons. I knew I could do that, and George loved them, and I adapted other things. Everything was super group. Everything was found. Nothing was made. Nothing. So this one eluded me, and the special effects boys kept making that looked like kind of torches, and George kept rejecting it until I found, I was in desperation. I went to buy the lenses to stick on the binoculars in a photographer's shop. In desperation, I said to the owner, "Have you got anything here I could find, anything that you know lying about it might be interesting?" And he pointed to a line of boxes under the shelf that were covered in dust. I mean, they hadn't been opened, he said, for years and years. And the first one I pulled out and opened up tissue paper, and there was this flash handle. And I just took it out, and I knew that was it. And I rushed. We bought all of the ones that he had there. And I rushed back. That's it there, if you can see. So that's the Graflex handle I made it from. This isn't the one I made for the film. This is ones that I bought because I love them. So I'm going to make some actually now. I do. Everyone wants them. So I've had made the exact duplicate of my T-strip that goes down the handle. And I put an old calculator bubble strip here that, you know, they're really hard to find now. So I've had those duplicated as I made them. I took it back, stuck all my bits around it with super glue, and then called George over, and he just held it in his hand because it's heavy, and he just smiled. That was George's biggest praise. Then in the new trailer, there's my lightsaber from Luke being handed over. So here we go. It's like, it's the past is coming to the future.
And what did you think about the new lightsaber with the sort of double hilt on it?
I could see then it was an old one. I could see the blade was all fractured, so I knew this was a found lightsaber. This was a Jedi coming back. And the cross pieces, my only comment was that George Lucas always to us, he'd said that everything had to be practical. Nothing should stand out as looking designed or be not what it's supposed to be. It should just be part of a natural world. And that was our mantra. I am absolutely sure that J.J. Abrams will know this will be the most analysed in the history of cinema, and that every frame he puts up there will be for a reason. So there's something coming about that, obviously, that will make sense.
So if you want to check out Roger Christian's Indiegogo page, check out the link on screen right now.
So next week, there won't be a Rebel Base, unfortunately, because Krupa and I will be out at E3 seeing Star Wars Battlefront. So we'll be out the week after to give you all the skinny on that. But I mean, we can do the show, one of us down. There's absolutely no way you guys will be able to handle doing it without two of us.
Just me.
Really, yeah. Exactly, just you building Lego for 20 minutes.
Why not?
Actually, to be honest, I'd probably watch that.
I'll live stream it next week.
But if you want to get in touch with us, you can, rebelbase@ign.com.
And for all things Star Wars, keep it locked right here on IGN.